former draft pick Royce White.
Yeah.
He's also claiming his eligibility for the WNBA, and it's like, now we're getting to a point of like, okay, what's going to protect the men's leagues and what's going to protect the women's leagues? And it's like, if you want to create a transgender league, then that's fine to do that and whatever. But it's like, if you're going to, I just don't see how safe it is for a female, born a female, playing a male who's biologically a little bit stronger. And let's just be honest, there's stronger women out there than me, but mostly males are stronger in their anatomy than women are. And if they come in and play women's sports, it's like, you're really messing with the camaraderie and the essence of the game. You know what I mean? Like the true essence of the game. And I'm trust me, I'm all for the LGBTQ plus and stuff, and wherever they choose to go. I mean, entertainment, whatever. I mean, it's accepted there, but for sports, I don't know. I don't know. It's a safety issue. It's a safety issue for their well being, for the other people in the league. The scrutiny, how much scrutiny that you're gonna get, and I even forgot. I forgot the transgender swimmer. She was like ranked 1,000, right, as a male swimmer. But then when she transitioned to a female, she was winning most of the things that she was winning. So I'm like, I'm confused on how to feel about this because it's like, what 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 is going to be safe for the participants in these leagues, and what stance should I have as a person that loves all and wants all to be loved? It's like that weird line, right? And I'm trying to be careful of what I say, but I know that whatever I say and do, something's gonna happen.
Well, you,
so
you can't please
so with
everybody.
that
So
Yeah, so with that being said, fuck Riverside. Let's start the podcast.
I was already recording.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to start off with that.
Hmm.
What? But
And I,
why are you sorry to start off with that? Like that, I was hoping that we would actually talk about this because it's relevant. Uh,
yeah, it's okay. So Tiegard, we live in a society where it's easy to get canceled for anything that you believe or say, and or it doesn't matter if it's coming from the heart or from a good place. Someone can misconstrue it, right?
What?
So if Go ahead, Dean.
No, no, no. I mean, like, why don't we talk about something that's not so controversial?
Okay.
um,
Tiger's like, gold. This was gold.
no, but
We're
like,
gonna
no,
make.
it is because like that's such a huge issue. You got guys that are trying to say, oh, we need to protect women, and then you got two douchebag ass guys that are saying, oh, well, I'm transgender now, so now I'm going to put myself in the draft for the WNBA for next season, and it's like this is the like, do you guys see what the biggest issue is? It's straight men. Like that's the biggest issue with all of this. Like straight men, we have a bunch of opinions. We just put ourselves into situations and we think that we know everything that's right. And it's like, but then like when stuff like this happens, it's like I've heard so many guys say, "Oh, yeah, WNBA, yeah, it's been around for years, but no one pays attention to it." Um, and we were talking about the WPBL, and it's like, oh well, it's women's softball, like it's not it's not real sports, but yet these are the same guys that will go around and say, oh, we should protect women, and it's like you guys talk shit about women's sports all the time,
But why
and
would they
then
say
stuff
it's
like
not
this
a real
happen.
sport?
This is what I hear guys say, like that the real sports are MLB, NBA, NFL.
But just
Like
because they're
those
women,
are
is that it?
right. And like
Okay.
that's why it bothers me, because it's like, I'll I admit I wasn't into the WNBA for many years, until actually coming out here to New York and actually watching the New York Liberty, and I got to see them win the title a couple years ago, and I was like, oh wow, like, this is really fun to watch. And then it just so happened that Golden State finally got their own team, and then that really like bumped up my fandom for WNBA, because really feel connected, obviously, to the Bay Area, and Golden State Warriors are my team, and so seeing the Valkyries come out, and like these 2 seasons of the Valkyries, I've been following them, like watch highlights when after games have been played. If I can actually watch them on TV, I'd like to watch them or watch on my phone. And it's like, I would talk to one of my friends, and it's like, oh, women's basketball, like it's not, good for them, but it's not, you know, it's not real sports or whatever. And I was like, well, I beg to differ. Like I'm into it. I'm not telling everyone else that they should be into it, but I got into it, and now I follow a team that I root for, and invested in the players and stuff. So like when stuff like this happens, and then of course another fucking douchebag throws a dildo onto a court, like was it yesterday, between the Sparks and um, shoot, I forget what the other team was. If it was a Tempo or
Mm.
who was playing, but it's like this is what bothers me about a lot of guys. It's like they think that their opinions are what everyone needs to follow, and then they do stupid shit like this, and they think that it's funny, or they think that they know what's right for women or whatever. It's like it grinds my gears, really.
It's not to say
Yeah.
this all guys, but certain
No,
guys,
I'm a guy, so like
right,
I'm
right,
not saying all like 100% men,
certain
but
men that feel
right.
that way are stupid for thinking that way, and uh, women's sports has been around for a while now,
Hmm.
and okay, sometimes men's sports gets more viewers, I guess, but now that women's sports are becoming more mainstream, this is their time to shine, and some men are kind of jealous about that, I'm guessing,
Hmm.
and it's not fair because I have a daughter and she's doing great in sports, and I support it 100%. And if she goes on to becoming a really good player, of course, of course I'll be there. But
Hmm.
you know, yeah, some people are like that. Some men, not all.
I mean, so around the world, I'll use hockey as an example. Men's hockey rinks are different sizes. So in Sweden, there's a former San Jose Shark player named William Eklund, and his brother were playing in Sweden, and their rinks over there are larger, wider than NHL rinks.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever they come down over to the NHL, the game is much faster and quicker, and they are more ready for it somehow because they have large rinks and whatever and all that. So with that being said, I mean, and it happens in men's sports and all. I mean, let's just be honest. When Wilt Chamberlain joined the NBA, the hoop was 8 feet tall and there was no 3-point line, right? But again, the game was getting taller and whatnot, and so the game went along with the height of the players. Even Shaquille O'Neal, when he got in there, the 5 second back to the basket rule had to be enforced there because he was just too dominant, and so they made the game simpler and more fair for the rest of the competition, right? So I'm just like saying, if you want to, and I may get flack for this, but maybe if you want the women's basketball to be as like fun and fun to see, lower the rim to 8 feet and shorten the court to make it, instead of shooting at men's height of hoop or men's length of court, shorten it, make the game faster, because these women are just as athletic. And but the thing is that you have a bunch of players in WNBA where the tallest player average is like what, 6'7", 6'8" at the tallest.
6'7", 6.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then, but the point guards are like 5'10", 5'10", 6 foot. The off guards are like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". The small forwards are like 6'2" to 6'4".
But see, if you do that, if you shorten the length of the the hoop for the women's, and the whole area, then some are probably going to be thinking, why do they have to do that for us, and why can't we play in the same field as the men's do?
Because well, the reason why I was thinking about that is because women's athleticism is kind of different than men's, right? There's not a whole lot of women's basketball players that could dunk, right? And so one of the unfortunate things about men's basketball is not defense, and it's not about like how well you move the ball around, or it's basically the highlight reel plays and whatnot. And so if we give a women's athleticism a chance to shine on a shorter rim, you know, uh, there's going to be like a lot of women dunking on that ball on an 8 foot rim.
I would
It's
love to see
because
that.
that's what I'm
So
saying. So if you and so the here's the backlash. Okay, why do you have to shorten the hoop for the women? Why do you have to shorten the court for the women? it's like it's like, okay, so why do Sweden ice rinks are larger to get their players ready for the small rink fast pace of the NHL in America? It's basically kind of like almost the same thing. It's like they play in the college game, and then you come into the NBA, or the WNBA, and you're playing that, and you're ready for that. And then all I'm saying is that the women in WNBA are very athletic. It's just that you can't see it with the current components of the way that the court is made and the way that the hoop is raised. And I mean, I'm just saying now, if you lower it to like 7, 8 feet, you're gonna see some freaking athletic moves by women, because they're gonna finally have a chance to shine with their athleticism. And if I'm gonna get flack for doing that, I'm just saying, if you want to make the game exciting, you have to look at who's in the league. And I'm pretty sure that y'all would love it if you see a 5'10" girl dunking on a freaking 6'4" center, right? I mean, it's exactly what the men's league did. And remember, the NBA had to heighten their court to 10 feet because of Wilt Chamberlain and Lou Alcindor, who later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So if the WNBA starts getting 7 foot women, then they're going to change the game like they did with the men's game. The men's game had to evolve with the players that were in. Nowadays, we don't even have 7 footers. We have like 6'10ers and 6'11 people.
Yeah.
playing center. And long gone are the days of the 7 foot, 300 pound monsters. They're no longer available. They're no longer out there.
I think
So
Wemby's the only one.
yeah, I mean Wemby, Chet Holmgren, but they're like what, 220, 220, 230
Yeah.
each or something. So
Skinny
they're not
guys,
the
man.
so the game has evolved into an athletic, and thanks to Draymond Green, I mean, believe, like it or not, he was the prototype for the stretch four. And so if you got the stretch four going and you got an athletic center now, people are playing small ball now because of the death lineup. The Warriors introduced that to the entire league because why? Andre Iguodala is he's just yoked. He's just strong. He's built for that life in the middle. And yes, he couldn't get as many rebounds as a center would, but he could switch off on LeBron James, J.R. Smith and whomever. And that's why it was a death lineup, because it didn't matter where Andre Iguodala was. Klay Thompson is a great defender. Steph Curry can just like stay on the off guards, and Draymond Green can move from 2 to 5. It was just a great situation. Same thing with the WNBA. I'm just saying that if you want to showcase the athleticism of the women, shorten the court, bring it down to 7.5, 8 feet, the hoop, and you're gonna see it. But there's gonna be haters out there who be like, "Oh, you're sexist and stuff, man." I'm just saying, if you want good
If we want it to be
products,
more exciting, we're gonna have to
yeah,
do
if
it.
you want it more exciting, I'm pretty damn sure freaking Angel Reese is not gonna do me bounds anymore if she freaking dunks it on people. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's
so what you brought up, Shaquille O'Neal actually brought up before, like a couple days ago, I think, about
yeah,
lowering the height of the rim. But like my thing is like it that should really come from the league and the players themselves on if they would agree to something like that. I feel like that we're bringing in what we think is exciting with what we see in the men's basketball, which is dunking. Like,
right,
I mean,
right.
I hear you. Like, if women were dunking more in their games, would other people be, more excited to watch it? I would actually challenge you guys to be like, actually watch a game or two or a couple and, watch the actual athleticism that these ladies really do have, because like also what gets me excited about the Valkyries and stuff is the way that they do play does remind me a bit of how the Warriors play with movement and everything, and it doesn't require you to need to dunk it, but they're also doing the like passing up the good shot for the great shot and trying to hit their threes, and they're actually one of the best defensive teams in the league. So the points against them, I think they're the top team, or they were for a while, the top team in like holding opponents to lower amounts during the game. So then that's how they're winning games, and it's like that's where I find hesitation with it. It's like I'm not saying like no, that's sexist or whatever, but before we say that is the way to make it more exciting, first of all, like I do think the games right now are exciting, and it's really about learning about the players and what they are able to do. And you already got a star MVP in Asia Wilson in Las Vegas, and like she's a fucking dope ass player, like, and like that's just like the hesitation that I have. It's like it's like we wanted to emulate the men's side when it's like, why do we always have to do that to the women's leagues rather than
Yeah,
appreciate what they already bring and
yeah,
appreciate how their athleticism is? And like, and again, like if they do, you know, majority believe like that would be a better thing in lowering the rim height, then again, like I would prefer to leave it up to the players because the one thing that I would think or that I thought about when I heard Shaq bring it up is like now you're screwing up people that are shooters. So now you're trying to benefit people that are taller by allowing them to be able to dunk. The shooters that have their range and everything, now you have to skew your shots a bit to get your muscle memory to not shoot it as hard because now it's a lower height. It's going to be, nuances like that that they're going to have to get used to. So, it's going to be, it is an interesting topic and to see like, you know, what could potentially happen in the future. But yeah, I think that the league themselves are the ones that should really be the ones to say, hey, something like this, we're gonna, work with the players association, for the athlete or with the athletes and see what they majority would agree to. If they want to keep it the way it is, then they keep it. If they majority, says, hey, actually that would be better to have it a foot lower, then I mean, like you said, Deej, like things have changed over the years.
Yeah.
Within sports that we still see, changes happen. Some things I feel like did happen though with the NBA due more to racial things. I feel like if I remember correctly, my grandfather had said, back when he played, dunking wasn't even allowed.
Hmm.
Like that
Wow.
that would actually be like not
Technical?
a foul or something, but like it was illegal to put your hands on the rim. Like you had to do layups or shoot it. Like you couldn't dunk. So, and then like you brought up changing the height because of Wilt Chamberlain. Like it makes me wonder, like, well, how many tall white people were there versus how many tall black players? And they were probably like, oh, we're gonna make it more difficult for you guys. And then it turns out that they're just able to dunk even higher too. So it's like the some rule changes I kind of feel like are done not for the best reasons, and there were ways that eventually the players just were able to go with it and make it their own anyways. But we got to be careful with just changing things because of what we think will make it more exciting, and let the players really be the ones to be the spokespeople for that.
Yeah. So, like, elegantly said, Tiegard. Let's okay. So let's switch. Let's switch it up. Let's just say that the game stays the same, same court size, same rim size. I mean, Caitlin Clark before WNBA, the WNBA attendance wasn't that hot, right? But then she came into the league and people started to take notice. It's now whether the skin color or whatever. Yes, I understand Caitlin Clark is a white female, but she's introduced a Steph Curry type game to the WNBA. Like nobody's been shooting it for farther than Caitlin Clark and all. And so I'm thinking that the more that the WNBA, more of these women, graduate from college and have a signature game, it's going to play out in the WNBA, and it'll bring more notoriety. It'll bring more fans to the game, like Caitlin Clark did. Because Caitlin Clark is, I'm gonna be honest. She has better handles and a shot range than most males in Division 2 or Division 3, right? But the thing is that her abilities and her talent was what made the WNBA popular. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. Thank you for bringing the notoriety. Now those fans are going to see the other players that are out there. So even if the WNBA does not change the hoop size or the court size, I still think it's going to not only survive but thrive, because there's so many different players that are coming up now that are getting, that are getting, inspired by the games of the players that are playing above them right now, to work out their game and make it exciting, so that when they come into the league, it's going to be, it's going to be a more, uh, a more it's not contenders. I'm losing the words right now, but it's gonna be better basketball games. It's gonna be, um, there's gonna be new rivalries that are gonna be made. There's gonna, it's gonna be great for the game. As soon as like other players start coming up, bringing their fan bases to the WNBA, like Keaton Clark did, I think that the WNBA is going to be fine, uh, just as is. But I think that what they need to do is they really need to be very careful of how they handle this in his Cantor Royce White situation, so that it will not bring backlash. So they, to the WNBA, because the worst thing that you could do with a growing league is get it to have bad press. And I think that, one, this was really selfish. If they were just doing this as trolls, and the WNB, it has been growing, especially with not only fans but with teams. What a dick move to do that right now, of all things. So anyway, I
Well,
team.
oh, go ahead, Dean.
Me?
Or if
Yeah.
not, I'll go.
No, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys saw, like, I don't know if it was just yesterday or the day before, but I'm just gonna refer to him as the doofus because I refuse to say his name.
The doofus.
And I'm not calling him a woman or a transgender, because everything he's doing is just out of spite and just to create rage bait and shit like that. Like, but he was at a Chicago Sky game wearing a shirt that says woman, noun, and like, so, basically, trying to say, what
The definition.
defines the definition of a woman and everything. And then he's like talking to one of the players, Natasha Cloud, who used to be on the New York Liberty, by the way, and is an ally to trans community and LGBTQ and everything. And he got escorted out, and now he's trying to say, oh, see, they kicked me out for no reason because of what I think defines a woman, or whatever. Like, he's trying to. It's all a fucking ploy, and it's so.
It's rage bait.
Just, it is, and it's so fucking, like, it's selfish. It's not for what people that support what he's saying is really about. Like, it's not about protecting women. It's not like, it's none of that. Like, he's trying to create chaos and cynicism within the sport. I'm pretty sure this is part of a political belief system that he has, along with Royce White. That's another doofus. Sorry, I shouldn't even say his name. Just doofus number two. But yeah, like, the thing is too is, like, men's sports, if they were to have this controversy, like, it would take a lot to have, a female to male athlete get to the point of getting into a professional league and actually being open about their status and everything. Like, we're not even at a point in time where male athletes that are gay, can express that they're gay. Like, we're not even at a point, like, a norm. So to make it seem like, oh, the WNBA has to figure this out right now, and it's all on them to figure out how to, handle this type of situation where it is delicate because you like it it's there's so many layers to it, but that's the thing, it's like you need to treat it in a way that respects everyone, and there's going to be those outside voices like Doofus 1 and Doofus 2 who think like, oh no, everything needs to be this way, and if you don't think it and do it this way, then you're wrong, and like it's a joke and blah blah, like all this stuff, and it's so damn ridiculous. Like, yeah,
I think
this
he
is
kn-
why I'm glad we're talking about this because like this has been bugging me for a while.
I think he knew exactly what was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He wore that shirt to a WNBA game, and what do you expect? Of course, some people are not gonna like it, especially the players. And
Yeah.
he sat right in front. No, not was he in front or was he like
Uh, like from what I saw in the video clips, like he was like
walking around
stand,
somewhere?
stand like like walking or
Yeah,
standing like
he was
behind
rows
the
behind
basket.
the baseline. He was rows behind
Yeah,
the baseline.
Yeah. So
and it's like, what do you think you're doing?
yeah. So he knows exactly what he was trying to do, and obviously he got kicked out for it. So and now he's playing. Oh, I'm the victim here. So
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is, well, one, I think that the transgender community needs to step up for themselves and say that should the Doofus One and Doofus Two be the spokesperson of what we believe that women's sports should be. And if you, because I don't think any transgender group or transgender person out there wants someone to create chaos and problems. And I know that most of them are peaceful, and they only want to have the same opportunities and whatnot. But I don't think that this is the right way of doing it. I think this is just a bonehead way of doing it. And I think that so let's just say, for instance, if Doofus One, right? If Doofus One was really about this transgender in the WNBA, then be an advocate. Talk about it. Don't just be a nuisance or be a problem. Create instead of creating stupid situations and making yourself look dumb. you know be an advocate to talk about it in serious depths, that what would it take for transgender to be allowed in men's sports or in women's sports. What is the actual factual points, or what will it take for it to be accepted in those kinds of sports events and whatever. I mean, in the Olympics it's already being allowed, and you're already seeing some of the dangerous things that are happening, like the transgender boxer that was boxing in the female Olympics. She nearly injured the other fighter, and the other fighter was just overwhelmed by the shots, and and she couldn't protect herself, and that's kind of scary if you're a female boxer, and just say you're a female boxer in general, and you can't block, and you can't defend yourself. That's a scary situation, and no matter if you're male, female, or whatever. Like, if you can't
Was
defend yourself against like strong attacks, then it's like you're in danger.
was I think that one's, if I remember correctly, though, is a bit different though in that boxer. And I definitely could be wrong. I don't know, but I don't think that she was transgender, meaning transitioning from male to female. I believe that she was born with male and female either traits or genetics or something like that. so
And
maybe
then so
able
then
to,
had to make sure that the chemical balance was right. Is that?
or I mean, I don't, I
Okay.
think it was something like that where like she either her body was it creates more testosterone than um, what the average. I don't know what to say or say it
Yeah,
correctly,
yeah,
but
no, no.
um,
Yeah.
but also like I mean, there's been fights with man on man, where sadly a fighter died from his injuries after a bout to either late like I know I just had read about one fighter that after years of having like a traumatic brain injury from a fight eventually passed away.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah,
Yes,
from
The Latin boxer.
yeah.
Cologne.
I know who you're.
Cologne.
Go
So
ahead.
like I mean that's like that, and I'm just bringing that up is not to downplay what you're saying, but like if it's a transition from male to female in the boxing arena, like that's also a specificity in that realm that they would have to look into and figure out like what makes sense for this. Whereas the Olympic boxer, if I remember correctly, wasn't that she was male and transitioned to female, was that has both male and female like traits or genetics or something like that, which they a lot of people were up in arms with that, saying that she's a man, but she's not. Like, that's an, another nuance that, people want to be up in arms about, but like there's, I don't want to say it like it's new, but like new in the sense of like having open discussions about this stuff and like actually dealing with it. Like, I don't even know how recent it was for, female boxing. Like, I don't know the history of boxing, but and how long ago female boxing even started. Um, but to have that discussion is also separate from like male to female transitioning, and then them partaking in female sports. So it's like it's a lot, and that's why it's a good point in my mind. Like when it comes to the WNBA, like it's still fairly new. They just celebrated what 30 years recently, so it's still fairly new or young, I should say, not new, fairly young league in regards to professional sports, and you know now this is in their face as if like, oh, WNBA, you should already know how to handle this. And to me it's like, well, a lot of people don't even want to talk about it openly, acknowledge sexuality and nuances and everything. So it's like now that it's here in our face, it's like, well, we're gonna need the time to have those discussions and see what makes sense.
I mean, to the end all, so the end line, the ending that I'm trying to get at is that I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I think that, and I'm not just talking about competing in a basketball game. I'm talking about like I don't want anyone to feel hurt about like decisions that are out of your control. You know what I mean? Like if they whether they decide to have transgender join the WNBA or not. I mean, obviously, in the NBA, it's a fair shot. You do a tryout, and if you make the team, you make the team. You beat out the other squad and whatever. And if a transgender, you know, makes it on an NBA roster, that's cool. But it's just like, how when will this decision happen? When will it start? And you know what I mean? It's It's something that it's like such, you know what I feel like I'm on thin ice, and I know that what I feel and what I say is different than what the norm is, and what is out there in this world. And it's what sucks is that I'm handcuffed either way. Like I'm handcuffed if I say this should be this way, or it should be this that way, and it's like it's a handcuffing situation. And I think that it's a very and at times I'm glad that this happened, but at the same time, it's like it's a difficult situation to one discuss. And for me, I want to I want to be like as even as Sweden. I want to whatever is whatever. It's just that like I feel like anything that I would offer, or say, hey, why don't we try this, or hey, why don't we try that? There's gonna be is one side or the other is gonna get hurt by what my decision or what I'm gonna say. And that's what's so handcuffing about this situation, about this topic. It's like you want the best for all worlds, right? But at the
Mhm.
same time, you've got people that are dicks about it, and then you've got people that are actually really wanting to have a chance and an opportunity to try. And it's like, again, you made a good point that it's up to the league to say, hey, okay, let's try that, or no, we got to protect our players or whatever. And again, it's a decision that is going to not make not one side happy or the other side happy. One of the sides is going to get hurt, and or is going to protest it or whatever. And it's just like, it's this is the way that our world has become, is that we're trying to do the best we can to be accepting for all, because we all deserve that. We all deserve to be respected and accepted for who we are. And there's going to be things that are just going to be like, oh, well, maybe not in this, or maybe not in that, maybe not in this. And that's the thing that handcuffs you. It's because you just don't know what is safe and what is not safe. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, I just hope and pray that whatever comes about this, I just hope that all sides can see, to agree, or to respect the other's decision. And but yeah, I yeah, this has been brewing ever since I saw that dude do that. I was like, I didn't know that he was gonna do that.
Yeah.
um so and I was gonna, I was gonna be, yeah, and here I was gonna be thick-headed, unsensitive, and I was gonna go and say, "Hey, Dean, how about this? Why don't you become a transgender boxer, and then Mike Tyson becomes a transgender boxer, and would that be fair?" And I was like I was trying to find like some stupid joke about it and stuff, but there's nothing that you can joke about. This is not something to joke around about. This is something that is going to happen. It's going to be real, and
Well
you're
then,
kind of glad that it happened now.
how do you
You
feel
know,
about men and women's sports?
Well, what do you
so
mean
me
men and women's
for my
sports?
whole yeah for my whole lifetime, that's what it was.
Like, like that one. Who was it? The swimmer, who was biologically male and then transitioned to a woman.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
So,
Yeah.
but would that would that affect your thinking? Like, if of course they have an upper or an advantage over all the women, right? So would you say that it's not fair for them to not to be in the women's sports?
Well, that's the thing. So I would just like Tiegard would say, I would defer that to the participants and the opponents of the swimmer,
Hmm.
and all the women that participated in that event
So
boycotted.
so because now they're thinking about. Well, I don't know if they're thinking about it. I think they did already. Like they banned all men from women's sports, right?
So for me, I just have a problem with saying it in that men women's. That's kind of like what Doofus One and Doofus Two are trying to portray it as, is like, oh, so if you can't define what a woman is, then I'm a woman, and so I should be allowed to be drafted in WNBA. But the the thing is, it's like, yes, there's the controversy with that one swimmer, but there was also other swimming that has occurred, and one woman, Riley Gaines, has gotten notoriety from it by being a sixth place finisher behind a fifth place finisher who's a transgender male to female, right? So it wasn't even that she lost first place or even second place or even third place. What she has basically built her entire career on going against this was she tied with a swimmer that was transgender for fifth place, but I forget what the um, I can't remember exactly how they put it, where the other swimmer, the transgender swimmer, was fifth and Riley Gaines was sixth. She's taken that and has gone that men should not be in women's sports, which
But
She
wait a minute,
said,
wait a minute. So so there's a first, second, and a third place and a fourth place, right?
Mhm.
Before the transgender swimmer, right?
Yeah,
So
and this is different from what you guys were talking. That
yeah.
there's this,
So
yeah.
the top four winners of that tournament were women.
Hmm. Yes,
Okay, so
biologically, yeah.
okay, so if that's if that's the case, I mean, let's just be honest. Women are ba. They're badasses, and they're freaking. They 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 have athleticism and all that, and they have the will and the fight to compete and all. And if women beat the transgender in their own, like, in their own sport and whatever,
"Are there
I
any
mean,
uh,
yeah, go ahead, Dean.
for are there any openly transgender players in the WNBA?"
Not yet.
No,
No. Okay.
the only openly trans basketball player that plays women's basketball is in France, in a French league,
In the French league. Okay.
and this was brought up too as a like a talking point for the people that are against or trying to paint the WNBA in a bad light and trying to basically along the same lines of Doofus One and Doofus Two. They made it sound as though the WNBA has not allowed this transgender player to play for the WNBA. The reality is that this player playing in the French league in its own right is like, how baseball has major league and then they have minor leagues, right? And then they have different levels, right?
Right.
So from what I have read, this French league is like a tier or two below what the WNBA like athletes play.
Okay.
So this transgender athlete is not even on the level of a WNBA player, and was asked in an interview, like, would you want to play in the WNBA? Well, she said, yeah, of
Of
course. Like,
course.
if I could play in the WNBA, yeah, I
Who
would
wouldn't
love
want to,
to.
right?
And that was taken out of context as if saying, oh, she wants to play for the WNBA, but they don't let her. And it's like, no, you're taking it out of context. And it's like, there are so many, like, I'm telling you guys, when I got into really watching WNBA and following the Valkyries, like there were so many good players that we did not keep. And I was like, why are we letting these good players go? And then they brought in these other players.
Where did they go?
And I'm like, they are either still free agents or maybe another team picked them up.
Oh.
But the issue with the WNBA, on a side note, is that whereas the NBA you have, was it 15 players per team, and there's what 30 basketball teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
Is that right, Deej? I don't know if you.
I believe so, yeah. I mean,
So
yeah.
The WNBA only had 13 last year with the Golden State Valkyries joining, and now this year with the Tempo and the Fire are at 15. So they're still like half the size of the NBA, and the total number of players per team I think is like 11, maybe 12, but I think it's more like 10 or 11. So like there's very limited spots on each team, and there's not that many teams. So you got all these athletic women that are vying for a very small amount of spots. And so they have all these other leagues around the world that the players will then go play. And like if you guys had followed the Valkyries too, they even drafted players that they intentionally drafted them and had them play in like Euro leagues or like other types of leagues to continue to build their
abilities,
skills and everything. Yeah, they're
yeah.
right before bringing them onto the team as like one of the spots that they have. Like, so they're like, it's very competitive in the WNBA. So it's like, that's why, when these people try to like make it a joke with the WNBA, I don't pay it no mind, because it's like they have no idea what they're talking about. And like, sorry, I got way off topic, I feel like, or maybe I just went on a far tangent with that.
No, that's fine.
You were on your soapbox. We were with
Yeah.
you.
But like the men and women's sports thing, it's like realistically we all can talk about the one swimmer that won multiple medals or whatever it was, and then aside from that, it's like we have to try to pick and choose like the Olympic boxer, which I remember now, I think the term is intersex, where they have both male and female genetics or something like that. We go to that and try to pick that as an argument, or we pick this argument of a French transgender player wanting to play in the WNBA and sound like that the WNBA doesn't want her to play in their league, or like it's like there's such a minimal number, and I don't want to say a percentage or a number because I don't want to get it wrong, but I know that I've read about it, multiple times over, and it's like so minuscule how many like transgender like open transgender athletes there are, like within high school, collegiate, and professional sports, that it's like the amount of like vitriol that it gets from people is like astounding, because it's like barely any of it, and yeah, it gets all of this stuff. Sorry.
Well, guys, I mean, we kind of forget, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, when we were trying to get fit, or, back in the day or whatever, like, 8 years ago, we were in a co-ed basketball league, right? We were playing with guys and girls, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, and it was we weren't thinking, oh, girls are here, oh man, blah blah blah. No, we were just like, damn man, I'm struggling to even keep up with point guard number 1 dude over here. What the hell's going on? And so it's like we have a different way of looking at things, because we do not see bias at all. Like when I was asked to play ball with y'all, we were playing with men and women, and it was like, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, oh, there's a girl on the thing, or oh, there's a different colored player on the ball court. No, we were just like, whatever's whatever. We're trying to lose weight. Okay, let's get some buckets and like freaking eat pizza after or something, right? So, with that being said, I mean, why don't they start opening transgender leagues? Why not start doing it now? In transgender basketball, transgender hockey, transgender baseball. I mean, it's going to it's going to showcase different styles of athleticism. Obviously, it's also going to show different types of talent and the level of talent, but it's going to be fair. And I just say, why not normalize transgender leagues?
I
Or is
was
that going
gonna
to be
ask that
or
too.
is that going to be a cancellation again?
It's not that. Oh, sorry. Go, Deej.
No, 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 I was gonna ask that too because, like, I don't know if you guys agree to having mixed with everybody in it. I'm not gonna say, but like, shouldn't there just be a separate sport with transgender um, persons? You know,
Yeah, why not?
why not? I would watch it,
I
So
mean, I
for
would watch it and I would definitely
support
support
it.
it.
I would support it.
And I mean, because I mean, obviously, the WNBA players do not play in the NBA, and the NBA do not play in the WNBA.
Correct.
So it's like, okay, let's create a safe place for transgender athletes
But is
to
that too
perform
hard
in
to
the sports
do?
that they like.
Is that too hard to do to make a separate?
It's gonna be small because everything's business, right? So it basically will have to start with how well the transgender leagues were received. Now let's just be honest. In the 70s and 80s, how many women's leagues were started and folded, right? Until the WNBA started to put their footprint in it and survived up until this point, to this Caitlin Clark experience or era.
Hmm.
So wherever this era is going to take the WNBA is going to, again, leagues have to grow and evolve and mature and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the 40s and the 50s and the 60s of NBA basketball were not that freaking exciting, but it was still a spectacle. If you had to, if I had to choose between watching basketball from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and watching 70s and 80s basketball, I would choose the 70s and 80s basketball because it was a little bit more interesting. The game evolved. The
Hmm.
game had changed, and so yeah,
I mean,
I think that. Go ahead, Dean.
no. I mean, I think that there's nothing against transgender players. I believe that it wouldn't be fair. Let's just say, for instance, Caitlin Clark was facing off against a transgender player who plays like Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan. It wouldn't be fair at all. It should be, of course, Caitlin Clark would do her best, but there should be something that could be made for just a specific for them, right? I
Right.
mean,
well,
it's a serious thought. I was just thinking about it. Um,
I hear where you guys are coming from, but I think what is being overlooked is that these humans are transitioning because of how they truly view themselves.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
biologically born male, but they see themselves as female, and they go through transitioning,
Hmm.
and they see themselves as female. That's what they go as.
Hmm.
So kind of put them in a like, oh well, you're neither, and we're gonna put you in this other league is kind of like
Like a separation.
not, well, like not uh, agreeing with how they view themselves as. So like it goes into the more like personal aspect of it, and you know, I hear you guys and think like you're coming from it in a a way of wanting to find, a hopefully good solution for everyone involved, but that's just like my 2 cents of it is that they would not feel as if they're being seen as who they really
Included,
are.
included. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Included, yeah, and like that's part of what the discussion and like understanding of like this really needs to be looked into. It's not gonna right, and like you said, these like
Say
there's
that
gonna
last
be
part.
people that
Say that last part again because you broke up.
oh it's not gonna be figured out overnight. It's gonna take time. It's um it's a delicate topic, and
You
like
know,
what
but you
Deej
get what
said
I'm saying.
before.
And I hope that you see what I'm saying by handcuffed. I'm not meaning that. I'm not meaning that it's like it's like everywhere I turn, everything I say is going to have is going to have an offense to my proposal, right? I believe that that's going to happen anyway. It's just that the thing is that to make the WNBA players feel safe, to have the transgender players feel safe, I feel handcuffed because I it's just like there's so many unhappy situations that are happening that are just making people not upset, but it's just it's making things like it's scary. It's scary for to once see things change. But what we have to do is we have to understand that change doesn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
And but at the end of the day, just as much as we propose and as much as I propose any ideas, it's going to handcuff you because you're going to be like, oh, that's that I see what you're saying, but then this is what they what they really feel. This is what they really want have decided on, and it's like that's why very you have to be very responsive, and you have to be very careful, and you have to be respectful about it. And the one thing that sucks about one, it's good that we had this topic came up because it's a it's uncomfortable for me because I don't know where the comfort is. Does that make sense? Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, and that's
I
the whole point of having these types of conversations, though. Like,
Yeah.
I've been guilty of it, and I know that I still have feelings about it too. Like, if it becomes uncomfortable, like I you know maybe hedge what I say, or what think about 5 words ahead of what I'm gonna say because offend anybody. But the thing is like in order to progress, we need to have these discussions and conversations. And I know that the two of you, with the idea that you brought up, isn't coming from a place of like disrespect or anything. Like I
Yeah.
know that it's coming from a place of like I want everyone to be able to you know do what they want to do, and so I would like to try to help find a solution. So like I don't see it as that you guys are you know, being any type of disrespect. It's not. It's really about, well, how can it, excuse me, how can, um, things, be resolved in a way that helps everyone. And, you know, we don't know where it's going to go and how it's going to look like.
Right.
One thing I do think that gets out of hand is a lot of people that like are very like anti LGBTQ and anti-trans or whatever, trying to make it sound as though that a bunch of men are just waiting to be able to transition themselves into women so they could go into the WNBA and take spots. And it's like uh, that's not why people transition from one gender to the next.
Because they
It's
feel
way
that
more
they are.
personal.
women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's way more personal than that, and it's the other way too. There's women that transition to men. Like it's there's so much more to it, and like we gotta watch ourselves and getting caught up in. Oh
Yeah.
well, then that just means a whole bunch of men that transition to women are gonna be in the WNBA and take all of these women's spots that should actually be like. I the it, I just I don't see that happening at all. Like I don't see people doing this because they want to become an athlete in a women's league and take women's spots. Like yeah, like we keep bringing up the one swimmer. Like people still argue to this day that she transitioned from a man to a woman because she couldn't beat the men in the men's swimming teams or swimming leagues, so then transitioned to a woman to win it. And it's like I even have a hard time believing that. Like it's there's hormone um, replacement that you gotta go through. You know, some do surgery to you know fully feel that they are the gender that they believe themselves, the sex that they believe themselves to be and see themselves as, and it's like that's why Doofus One and Doofus Two, like I don't take them seriously at all because
Yeah.
that's the shit that people want to rile everyone up with, and it's like don't fall for that crap. It's
And
these
you
are
know what?
two guys that are just losers themselves that are trying to find relevancy. And Doofus too, I think, was doing it because he was running for some seat in government, and he ended up getting his ass kicked really badly, and he lost anyways. And it's like,
Former NBA player.
Yeah.
if you
No,
can call it that.
I think for me, I think that what this conversation brought up to me is that it just shows that there's got to be a lot of dedicated time, a lot of dedicated patience,
Mhm.
a lot of listening, hearing, and discussion, and not in a argumentative way, but to understand what transgender really means, and if and you know and how it may have a place in the WNBA. And I mean, Tiegard, you brought up a good point that even a transgender swimmer did not beat out women in a swimming tournament. And it's like that could happen for a transgender player as well. They may or may not make it in the WNBA or NBA. And it's but as long as they're given the fair shot to try, and if the players of both respective leagues can open their mind and hearts to it, why not? Why not let those that feel like men try out for the NBA? Why not let those that feel like women try out for the WNBA? And it's not a safety issue, because I'm going to be honest with you, in both leagues, badasses are there. Mrs. Badass and Mr. Badass are all freaking there, winning championships and all that. And I don't know how I turned Southern all of a sudden, but
It
um,
happens.
I I think that for me, to because I'm torn by this. I obviously it's like, I want the best for all, right? But at the same time, it hurts to see WNBA players upset about this. It also hurts to see people that rile it up for no reason, right? And right now we're all in a brand new situation where we all we all are faced with this, and it was bound to happen. And I mean, there are some gay male players that play in the NFL. There was some that were openly gay in baseball. Billy Bean was one, and the general manager of the Oakland Athletics, where Moneyball was created. from his genius, and it's it's opened my eyes, and I right now I'm just gonna, as a fan of both sports or all sports in general, both female and male. Um, I'm just gonna hope to God that the forums are open and with no without no decisions made prior, that they're all just going to do the best they can to listen to each other and whatnot. So
All
yeah, I'm
right.
gonna leave it there. Dean, gosh damn, we did you've been so patient.
No, I
You've been
mean you
so
guys
patient for
are
this
you.
whole thing.
No, I'm just saying you guys are making some good points. You guys are talking about your feelings about this situation, and it's a sensitive situation, very sensitive. And I'm glad we had this conversation, and that got things off our chests. And it's been a while since we've talked for a while on a podcast like this. So I'm glad. I'm glad.
And that's the reason why we talked about it today, is because we
Exactly.
all have grown and learned some things along the way.
Right.
So
Right. And it's good to talk about things. It's good to talk about these kinds of
Yes.
things. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter, as long as you say what you have to say.
we are
And
here
Um,
be
we
and
are
be
here.
respectful.
and be respectful.
Yeah, we're here to be. Yeah, exactly. All three of us. I'm not, I'll speak for you all because I know y'all, but I know that you all just want the best for people, and you all want. You all don't want not one person to suffer. You all don't. You all want to see people succeed,
Yeah, we don't
and
want
I
any.
think that.
Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we don't want anybody to suffer or anything. And,
No,
that's not what we are all about. There's already enough hate in this whole world, and we're not going to try to add to it at all. So, that is that.
that is that. I mean,
So, anything you would like to say, Deej?
no, I think that you should have the final word of the day.
Well, I mean,
That's
Tiegard,
Tiegard usually does.
you're
No,
okay.
I'm deferring it to you, Dean. I
No,
got to let a lot of our opinions
of
get away.
course, of course. And like I said, it's been a couple of months since we've talked and got a podcast on. We didn't even have a formal introduction to this podcast. We were just like testing it out, actually, and it went pretty long. It's an hour and 12 minutes going. So yeah, that's how we talk, and we keep getting not sidetracked. I wouldn't say sidetracked, but like we have things to talk about and get off our chest. That's all. So, and I'm
All I
glad.
gotta say, people, is that one, thank you so much for breaking us through the threshold of 100 subscribers. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Woo!
Thank you so much for that. I've been waiting 4 months to say that. So
You've
like
been
I
waiting four
thank
months just
you
to
for
say that.
all of you.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I have. Thank you for watching all of Dean's shorts. Thank you for constantly agreeing that the turtleneck game is like second to none with Tiegard. And just
Turtleneck
me as
game.
a 500-pound Sasquatch, thank you for letting me be off the cameras, because I don't want to break your camera or your iPad or phone screens with my ugly self. So thank you, and
Uh,
continue to tell your friends, everyone. Tell your friends that, hey, there's like three guys that like to talk about stuff,
Yeah, and we're
and
gonna
once in a while we'll throw a serious little bit in there,
yeah we're
like
gonna
transgender in sports
we're
and
gonna
male
try to
sports
make
or
more.
female
We're gonna
sports.
try to make more and more podcasts in the near future, and like we're kind of slacking off, I know, and trying to get some time in there to get all of us together, because I would rather have everybody together than just me, just boring old me. So yeah,
You are not boring.
Sometimes I can.
hairline.
Sometimes I. What here?
You look like what's his name? Jimmy Dean? Is that the sausage or is that the
Jimmy
guy?
Dean
the,
is
Wait, no. Who's the guy that's on the motorcycle? Who's like, oh, cool.
James
with the-
Dean.
James Dean.
Jane? Oh.
Yeah, him.
Jimmy
Same
Dean.
thing.
Jimmy Dean is the guy with the sausage.
See, same thing. Jimmy Dean, James Dean, same guy.
Well, I'm glad
He just
that
make it-
you
he's
noticed
cool
it.
on a motorcycle making sausages. You know, whatever.
Ooh. Speaking of sausages,
Okay.
I don't know.
Stop right there.
All right. All right.
An hour and 14 minutes.
All right, guys.
Your final thought.
Final thought is thank you guys for sticking through this whole podcast. I'm glad that we had it. We're going to be doing some more and more podcasts in the near future. And tune in for some funny ones, some serious ones, some randomly irregular ones. And yeah, that's it. All right, guys.
Everybody, thank you for. Oh, it's been a while. We've got 2 polls and 1 track.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Peace.
We love you.